Okay, this is round number 3 against Mr. Imrik 180. This is we're 2-0 right now, so we need 5 wins or 2 losses to finish the draft. So he's opening with Shardclaw Crusher, which is a rather solid opening. We're gonna just block with Shimmerfang Serpent and play Kitari Sprite. That way, if we draw Harbinger or Spring Dryad, we can go off a little bit. Plus, it's just a really solid card, Kitari Sprite. I'll just play Guitar Sprite in the center lane because actually let's play it in this lane because if he wants to use formation, he has to play things here and here in lanes 3 and 4. But if he has side lane things, I don't want to put Guitar Sprite in the side lane because whatever replacing it, I probably don't want to shove into a side lane. Like this Harbinger of Spring, that was actually exactly what I wanted. So now I can play Harbinger of Spring and Flesh Fiend. It's probably gonna be the best cards here. Even though I can go, like we saw last game, I went off with Stygian Lotus Harbinger. That's probably not going to happen right now because Stygian Lotus just is so small and scales so poorly that it's much better to play Flesh Fiend. Okay, so he's making a large Brood Horror, which is kind of strange because Brood Horror gets smaller as he plays creatures, but it does buff all his creatures, so... Okay, so what I'm going to do is play... I don't want to jam my Harbinger in front of this Raleigh Symbiote. So I'm going to play Harbinger over here in the open lane, and then play Flesh Fiend on top of Kitari Sprite after combat. Because this gives me 3 free damage on the Symbiote, so it's less likely for him to pump it away. And even though after combat I have a chance to jump in front of the Brood Horror, I still think that's fine because the Brood Horror would die. Wow, double Etherwolves is actually pretty sick here. If he kills my creatures, I can... I don't know how he kills the Kitari Sprite, so I'm probably just going to play Etherwolves and Scourge Knights. Like Scourge Knights in right here on the second lane, shrink something and then play Etherwolves maybe. Because this Flesh Fiend's going to die, which would give me +4/+4 to my Harbinger and put 2 5/6s into play. So it just culls my Kitari Sprite. So now I can probably Etherwolves and see if I can trigger formation with Scourge Knights. Which means I would have to have a Etherwolves in either side lane to let me trigger it. I take 8 from Brood Horror, but it dies. It's no worries there. Let's see. So there's the side lane. And yep, we did it. I don't want to play another Etherwolves because even though it pumps my my Harbinger to really high levels, Scourge Knights is a card that levels well, and Etherwolves does not level at all. So I would have much rather just play a card in formation that have it level and deal a little bit less damage to my Harbinger. I don't need a board full of 5/6s to win the game, and if he manages to clear them, like if he has... Actually, Epidemic's not in this format. It might be better to just go full 5/6s. That might be the play. I just am hedging my bets here by going for the early game Etherwolves plus the more late game oriented Scourge Knights. I mean, it's not a late game card, but since it levels up, it's decent. Now I can even sacrifice it to Gravepact to level up the Gravepact. Or I could just play Deathseeker Gravepact if I want to do that. Oh, he Gravepacts his own Deathseeker to kill my guy. That's pretty solid. So now I'm going to go to combat, play Deathseeker. My Deathseeker will trade with his 5/5. And then we'll play Shardclaw Crusher in the center lane because I want to pump the next creature I play. That way, if I don't draw level 2 and he does draw level 2, I can have something that competes with it. Rather than playing a Grove Matriarch and not being able to compete with his level 2 creature. So I actually did draw 2 level 2 creatures, but they're really small. So I probably am going to pump the Shimmerfang Serpent, make it a 10/15, and then just play the Deathseeker in an open lane. Or block whatever he plays. He's probably going to kill one of my Etherhounds and put something in front of Shardclaw Crusher. That's what I imagine he was probably going to do. Or he's going to play Abyssal Brute to sacrifice to the wolf and make a big creature here. Which I can put the, whatever creature he plays here, I can put Deathseeker in front of it. Which, I mean, is not the best, but... Oh, so... That's a very odd play to me. Huh. So he chose to just chump block an Etherwolves and not use the ability of the Hound. Huh, it's very odd. One weird thing about this is I can use the Damara's pickguard's poison against it. Like if I put a Seeker here, it'll become a 10-10 on his turn, so he has to either pump his Damara's pickguard or kill my 10-10 in order to keep it alive. And so let's just go to combat. Replace my Shimmerfang Serpent, or my Sharkclaw Crusher, because I'd much rather have a 10-15 than a 5-5. And then play this Death Seeker here, pass turn, Death Seeker dies, becomes a 10-10. Huh. So there's some Sorrow Maiden. Sorrow Maiden's not very good as an underdrop, so I'm probably going to play the Grove Matriarch, and it has the added benefit of working with my Harbinger. If he plays a creature, I can block with a Grove Matriarch. You know, I haven't actually been paying that much attention to what my opponent's been playing. I probably should do that. So now I can play Grove Matriarch in front of his 10-10, which blocks it twice, reduces it down to a 10-5, and it pumps my Harbinger this spring, because the token comes into play from not my hand. So this will be an 11-11. And he plays a Symbiote in front of my 10-15 just as a chump blocker. Solid. One thing I like about Shimmerfang Serpent is it absolutely slaughters whatever it attacks. Like, even if it doesn't kill it immediately, it'll just kill it eventually. There's no way around it, so I don't see any merit in playing Rite of the Grimgaunt. I would rather play two creatures, especially when one of those creatures is Harbinger of Spring, and I can make it very large by playing Grove Matriarch. The one downside of this is oh no, I think he only has a level 1 Abyssal Brute, but even if he has a level 2 Abyssal Brute, it's not that big a deal, because level 2 Abyssal Brute's only a 9-9, and this is an 11-11 as soon as my Grove Matriarch dies. He can Grave Pact one of his creatures to kill my Harbinger, but that's still a 1-for-1 for me. So he has no damaged creatures right now. So this is actually pretty bad if he has the Grave Pact, because it would kill my Shimmerfang and my Harbinger. And it level 2 Grave Pact upgrades to a free. So I'm probably going to play Sharkclaw Crusher and Groupneo to save my Shimmerfang Serpent, and also do a little extra damage to his Spirit token. I could Twin Strength the Shimmerfang and the I guess the Spirit token, but I'd rather play Groupneo because it gives my my Seedling, my Spirit, and my Harbinger's power, whereas Twin Strength only gives 2 of them power. Just do a little more damage this way, and then I get to play Guitar Sprite to block his Spirit. Hopefully, I get to play Scourge Knights as well. Like maybe I can play. The one thing I learned with Formation is that when you play the card, it has to be surrounded by creatures. You can't like replace Guitar Sprite and have it spawn next to the Scourge Knights in trigger formation, because that won't work. So he Dendrifies my guy. That's pretty good. He still has to block this 12-1 Shimmerfang Serpent, though he does have a lot of Death Seekers in his deck. He's played 2 already. He might have a 3rd one. It's not unlikely if he has, you know, Harbinger or Spring or what have you. Cavern Serpent, that's decent. Decent blocker. So I can actually play Scourge Knights and kill his Spirit token in formation, because it gives -4/-4, and then play Guitar Sprite over here. Swing for 10. I'm not using the Sharkclaw Crusher, but it has 10 power, so it's fine. Plus, this puts him at 19, so he has to block pretty much all my creatures. And I would be really surprised if he blocked all my creatures with, you know, 2 plays. Like, what's the best thing he could have here? Probably some legendary, but if he doesn't have a legendary, maybe it would be Etherwolves, maybe? Like double Etherwolves, blocks 4 creatures, but it doesn't progress his board very much. Sharkclaw Crusher, so he's still dead on board rate, because he takes 7, puts him down to 12, and then I hit battle again, he takes lethal damage from these 3 creatures. Pretty sure I didn't miscount. I mean, I didn't count at all, but yeah. So that's a pretty easy win. My cards were just a little better than his. I had a really good start with the Etherwolves Harbinger that put him pretty far behind, and he wasn't able to deal with the tricks I had. So that's 3-0. We'll try to go for the 7 win.